Again, good morning or good evening wherever you are in the world to all the occupational therapists that are joining us today. Hopefully a lot of you will hear this recording on our Facebook or website at passportusa.com. We are doing a webinar today for occupational therapists and letting you know the process of securing educated in, have worked in, and really want to apply here in the U.S. There are plenty of job opportunities for occupational therapists here in the U.S., and that's why we want to help you get here. You know, I have helped numerous therapists, whether they be occupational therapists or physical therapists, come to the United States, secure U.S. visas, and start working and building a life here in the U.S. You know, and today I want to help you. Passport USA is a division of Health Carousel, our parent company. We would end up having you work through us here in the United States. We are an agency that believes in ethical standards treating to all of our employees. So hopefully you'll become one of our employees and you'll be able to experience this great ethical benefit. You know, we do hold ourselves to high standards. If you're in the Philippines, we are POEA approved. We just believe in treating our employees right. There are lots of agencies that take advantage of candidates, and that is not something that we do. So that is a good benefit for you. We also offer other great benefits here at Passport USA for our therapists. You get bonuses for passing the NPTE and NBCOT, better known as NBCOT. If you come to us with a visa screen or state license, you will also qualify for bonuses for that. If you haven't passed NBCOT or NPTE or received your visa screen or a state license, we will pay for those expenses, or you will be reimbursed for said expenses. We pay for your H-1B sponsorship. There's opportunities to be sponsored for your green cards, whether that is an EB2 or an EB3, whichever you qualify for. You get paid time off, PTO, vacation time, which would be great if you're here in the U.S. and want to visit family in India or in the Philippines. A lot of agencies do not offer that to their foreign trained therapists, but we believe in treating you just like we would treat any other employee here in the U.S. We have competitive hourly wages and annual raises. So we would love to have you come and enjoy these great benefits. Now, one of the things you're going to want to do when you've decided you come to the U.S. is to select a visa sponsor or an agency to help you get here. There are many agencies out there, so I think it is important for you to do your homework. A lot of agencies are going to lie to get you to sign their contract. So what you want to do is, before you sign a contract, investigate, understand what you're getting involved in, and make sure you're making the greatest choice for you. Of course, I believe Passport USA is the best for candidates out there. Again, we are extremely ethical. We provide great benefits, and we do not lie to our candidates. We will tell you up front what your assignment is. You know, assignments change on a regular basis, but we're not going to lie to you. We will do our best efforts to get you here, to treat you like any other U.S. employee. So that's why I think you should choose us. But again, do your research and choose the best agency that works for you. Now to get into the part to discuss what the requirements are for occupational therapists coming to the United States. In order to qualify to work as an occupational therapist in the United States, you must do the following. You must get your credits evaluated by OTED, which is the credentialing body here for occupational therapists is as the NBCOT. You could go through CGF&S. That's also an option, but a lot of people go through NBCOT. You need to demonstrate a competency as a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, excuse me, by passing the NBCOT exam. Lots of people take this exam. It's as long as you study, you should be able to do well. There are a lot of study aids out there. You'll need to secure a visa screen, better known as a VCVC for occupational therapists, secure a state license, and secure a U.S. work visa by securing U.S. employment. So you need to really follow those 5 steps, and that's a short version of how to get here. An agency is going to be able to help you get through all those steps. Now, to determine whether you're eligible to come over and work as an occupational therapist here in the U.S., you need to make sure you meet the standard. And by doing that, you need to go through the OTED process through NBCOT. Again, like I said, you can go through this through CGF&S, and they have their own process. But today we're going to focus on NBCOT because most people do go through NBCOT. The first thing you'll need to do is have your education evaluated. This is the most confusing part to occupational therapists when they go on the website. They need to choose through Category A or Category B, and which category do I fall in. I'll do a brief overview on that in a minute, but the first thing you need to do is go through the OTED process. Then you need to make sure that you qualify by having 1,000 hours of supervised practice, and that can be in your own home country. As long as you did it during clinicals, that would be fine. You just need to have about 1,000 hours. You need to show that you need to show all licenses that you have. So if you are in the Philippines and you have a physical occupational therapy license, you need to show that it is not encumbered. However, there are some countries that don't have licenses. So if you don't have one, you don't have to produce one. But if you do have one, you have to show that it is unencumbered. And you have to pass TOEFL, the dreaded TOEFL exam that everyone is frightened about. So again, you'll need to have your education reviewed, have your supervised practice, demonstrate that you do not have an encumbered license if you have one, and take TOEFL. Now again, like I said, the biggest and scariest part when you're looking at this is probably getting your education evaluated. There is a Category A, which means that you've graduated from an entry-level post-baccalaureate degree in occupational therapist from a WFOT-approved school. That's how you qualify under Category A. Under Category B, it's a graduation from an accredited approved educational program recognized by NBCOT and presenting evidence of educational preparation determined that it's the equivalent of the U.S. standards. So basically, you're going to get a checklist if you have to go into Category B, and you're going to go through and say, yes, I've taken this class, I've taken this class, this is the equivalent. So basically, you're going to get a little checklist that you need to go through and make sure that you are, that you do qualify. It takes work. You need to be committed. If you want to come to the U.S., you've got to be committed to this process. So it's not as simple as filling out just an application. You do have to go through the process. And I know some people just don't even want to deal with it. But, we can help you through that process. So I definitely, encourage you. In this slide, if you download this presentation, it also gives you more detailed breakdown of Category B, the checklists that are on there. You can also check out the NBCOT website where you can download that form and go through it. And if you have questions, I feel free to contact us or one of our partners in the Philippines or in India. Everyone will be here to help you through the process. And then we want to talk about International OT eligibility standards. This is a huge thing that a lot of people do not have on their radar because it is not until July 2013. When it comes to getting credentialed and coming here to the U.S., July 2013 is really not that far away. You need to be aware that international OTs must meet one of the minimum criteria, or you will not be able to come to the United States through NVCOD. And that means you either have to have gone to a WFOT approved school, or that you have a postmaster's degree in occupational therapy. Okay? So you'll need to go to a WFOT approved school and have the postmaster's degree in occupational therapy. Okay? So that's one way you can get in. So if you only have a bachelor's degree, you're not going to be able to qualify right now in 2013. So this is why you want to keep this on your radar and process as soon as possible. There's another way that you'll be able to do it, and that's through the entry-level master's degree program. And that has to be through a WFOT approved school. So this is huge if you're coming to the United States. You want to process as soon as possible so you do not have to go out go over, like I said, you need to prove that you have a license verification, that you need to prove that you have, you know, an unencumbered license. If you have one, you'll just need to produce it. It's not a big deal. This is probably one of the easiest steps to get through. Again, TOEFL. On our presentation, it will tell you that, you know, the TOEFL exam probably costs about $165. The passing composite score is about an 89 with a 26 in speaking. You know, people pass the TOEFL exam every day. And if people are doing it in large numbers, it means you can do it in large numbers. So you can pass this exam. You can do really well. I encourage you not to put off the TOEFL exam. A lot of people are like, well, I'll do this first, and then I'll do this first, and I'll study for the MBCOT exam. Don't bother studying for the MBCOT exam until you take TOEFL, because if you don't pass TOEFL, the MBCOT exam is pretty useless. So I think you should just do the TOEFL, focus on passing, and getting it done. So I think license verification, TOEFL exam are pretty much your easiest steps through this process. All right, and if you flow through the rest of our, you know, our presentation here, it goes very much in depth. It's much better if you're probably reading this to go through the NBCOT process in detail, talking about degrees, the OTED application process. We break it down about how much the fees cost. It's about $500. What you need a, you know, a passport photo. So I'm not going to bore you with all those details. That's, I mean, we have it very outlined in this presentation that you will find on our website, not just to go with the audio. So I want to make sure that you go and check this out so you can go through and say, yes, I do have this. I can get this. This is very easy. You know, very, very easy process. It talks, you know, it goes into great detail about the OTED application process. Again, if you have any questions about the whole entire process, we want you to come, you know, we welcome emails, we welcome questions at the end. Another big thing at the end of this is, you know, client assignments. In many cases, you'll be able to interview with our clients prior to you even starting. Once you take TOEFL, we're ready for you to start interviewing with our clients. We feel that you're dedicated to the process. We'll review our contract with you, and then we'll have you start interviewing while you're doing the whole entire NBCOT OTED process. We want to make sure you get selected, because at that point, as soon as you take and pass NBCON and get your VCVC or visa screen, we want to file for your H-1B visa to get you here and get you working here in the United States. There are tons of opportunities, whether they be at our clients that are hospitals, skilled nursing facilities, outpatient settings, or home health positions. We want to make sure that we get you set up in a great place. Again, you'll be able to qualify for an H-1B visa to initially get here, but then you can also qualify for an EB-3 and or an EB-2. And while you're here working in on an H-1B, if we apply for any of these green cards, it basically allows you to stay in the U.S. for perpetuity until you get that green card. A lot of people think you can only stay in the U.S. on an H-1B until, twice, until 6 years are up. That's not true. If we have filed for an EB-2 or an EB-3 on your behalf, you'll be able to stay until that date becomes current and we process your green card. We do have an entire visa and immigration team here in our U.S. office that works specifically on that, so we can deal with any issues that come up with you or any licensing questions you have about state licenses and where you want to go. We want to hear where you want to go, but we also want you to be flexible on where you go. Just to let you know, give you a brief overview, documents you're going to need for your visa sponsorship. You're going to need a resume. You're going to need any, diplomas that you have for your degrees. You're going to need your transcripts, a copy of any licenses that you hold, a copy that you've, passed the NBCOT exam, passport pictures, and then eventually you'll need your visa screen to get through the embassy. A lot of people get worried about coming to the U.S. Oh, I've never been to the U.S. What do I do when I get here? That's the great thing about companies like ours, especially ours. We are so focused on helping you get prepared to come to the U.S. that, when you get here, you have a welcome wagon. You have somebody that meets you, that gets your apartment set up. You'll get, some living allowance. We'll bring you to your facility to introduce you to your new boss. You'll get a binder with all of our policies and procedures. We get you settled here in the United States so that you know you have a family. Here at Passport USA that will watch out for you. As long as you work for us, you will have a connection with one of us, and we'll be able to, really answer any questions. You have a constant contact with someone here in the office. Today, we actually had 3 people arrive from outside the United States, and we have somebody meeting them in Texas. That is bringing them around to Texas and New Mexico where they'll be working. They're right on the border, so we have one on one side and 2 people going to New Mexico, 1 going to Texas. So they have a great adventure with John Dawson, who is our licensing and immigration expert. Everyone in our office, tries to go out and meet some of our new recruits, so you'll get to meet somebody from our U.S. office, which is really exciting. Right now we're going to open it up to any questions you might have. I'm not sure if I see any questions. We're having a little